What is up, everybody? Welcome to today's News Tonight, episode 147. I apologize for the delay, but as luck would have it, we had some very last minute stream issues. Thankfully, we got them resolved thanks to the one and only Brandon Miracle there. You can see him to my right. I'm your host, Steve Bowling, still wearing my Animal Crossing shirt from this morning. That's how excited I am. I'm joined by my two Animal Crossing New Horizons cohorts, Brandon Miracle and Daniel. Evernight
Hey.
Studio.
Hey, hello, everyone.
Evernight Tide Studio. I'm still working on that part. But
It's hard, I know.
anyway, I'm basically joined by Good Vibes Arcade. If you follow us on Twitch, twitch.com/officialgvg, or twitch.tv. Twitch.com, what the hell is that? You can tell that I don't live there. Anyway, we have a lot to talk about for this episode. Quick reminder before we jump into all of today's Nintendo news, because yeah, we're just doing a Nintendo episode today, folks. Surprise. Super chats have changed here on today's News Tonight. We don't read all of them out all the time, but they do all get screen time. If you look to the right of our good friend Brandon here, they will pop up on stream from time to time. They're going to appear something like let's send one through, shall we? If I can find one. It looks like right there. So they show up kind of like so. We'll be showing them all throughout the show. So if you super chat, as long as it's kind, then you will end up seeing it. Quick reminder, we are inching up on 70,000 subscribers. That means that Derek and Ash, neither of whom are here, will end up participating in No Shave November. They'll grow one of these out. Hopefully it'll look better than mine. Mine's a little scary. Maybe Daniel's doing it. Look at him stroking that chin there. Maybe he's thinking about joining us. I don't know.
Oh, no.
But
Steve, can you do
70,000
another
subs.
test for me? One more.
Yes, I can.
Give me one more.
Let me send one more here. There you go. I just sent one
Hey.
through for you.
There it is.
There it is.
All right.
Okay.
So yeah, super chats will appear like that on screen. If you send one through, we will be reading select super chats though throughout the show. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and just read a couple to thank you guys for sticking through the technical issues at the beginning of the stream here. We had Thomas Nerds out with a $5 super chat that just said, first super chat of the show. Just wanted to say that while I don't condone piracy, Project 64 and Dolphin is starting to look more appealing. No comment. I don't condone piracy either. I think though we'll have thoughts on that. We are going to be talking a lot about the NSO edition during the show. It's one of our two primary topics. I saw another super chat come through from Jaden Buck. It is Friday, so with $5, Jaden Buck says, "Crazy question Fridays. Crazy question number 12. If you were to create your own language, how would you say ass in that language?" Man, that is. Are you high? Like I have to. I'm just wondering. I don't know how to.
I would
Yeah, I
say
feel like-
booty.
I would make woody the official the official word since we already use it. Why not woody?
So occasionally you'll see Steve enter a sea of madness.
I truly
mind
don't
it.
Yeah.
know what's going on.
Something's happening there.
Yeah, it's the same thing that happened to Ash last episode. So sorry, folks. I'm still working out the kinks with this Video Ninja service. It doesn't seem to play nice all the time. But anyway, last one I'm going to read from Jacob Tucker says, "Folks acting like it's $50 a month." Yeah, I could see. I definitely understand the reaction, but we'll talk more about that here in a sec. Let's go ahead and just get right to it. The topic for today, I want to start with Animal Crossing. For those of you that weren't there, we reacted live to the Animal Crossing Direct this morning at about 7 a.m. So I don't blame you if you weren't here. It was a bit early. But it's I really like, after having some time to stew on it, I'm a big fan of this update. I can't wait to play it. I want to throw it to you guys first though. Daniel, let's start with you. After having a few hours to ruminate on the Direct, how do you feel about it a few hours after things have ended?
It's amazing how Brewster was literally the tip of the iceberg for this very substantial update. Like I was thinking, hopefully, yeah, before the show, we were thinking this has to be something a little more than just like your one feature update that they used to do like monthly or around the time that the game was released. And wow, they went they went big on it. Even just the free DLC update portion, which is now the last update for the game. I'm still, I can still recall like there are many things added, like little quality of life things, new features like cooking and new plant and new planting new vegetables and increased storage space and all this stuff. Yeah, people who haven't been on this game for months now, I can see a lot of people coming back and really like diving into all this content that we have now.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a long lapsed player, and I'm hoping to come back and spend some more time there. Um, what's your feeling on it, Brandon? Where are you at right now?
This is I expected us to get a lot in this update, but I vastly underestimated just the sheer volume of stuff that they're giving us, both free and in the paid Happy Home Paradise expansion. And they addressed a lot of the things I was hoping we'd get. I saw people in our chat, they were like, let us hang things from our ceiling. And there was a whole lot of that. I
Yeah,
personally wanted cooking. That was something that we had data mined a long time ago, and it ended up coming true. I'm very excited for it. Um, and then you over here, Mr. Prophet, just predicted all of the Happy Home Paradise stuff, even it being an NSO, which is wild to me.
I
Yes.
I don't know where that came from.
Steve is the actual uncle that works at Nintendo, clearly.
Clearly, I'm someone's uncle. I'm three people's uncle, so I guess you could say that. But um, yeah, it was interesting to me to see. I was just thinking like, how does Nintendo couch getting people to pay for DLC for a game like Animal Crossing? Because Animal Crossing sold to a ton of people. Like, I would call them like the Wii crowd, right? The folks that buy a Nintendo console and a single game, and that is the only reason they own that device. And I feel like Animal Crossing managed to tap into that in a really interesting way. Like my mom has a Switch just for Animal Crossing. My dad has a Switch just for Animal Crossing. Um, I know a bunch of people in my life who, you know, like old friends that I'd not talked to came out of the woodwork when Animal Crossing came out because they're like, "Yo, do you have this game? Like, I'm finally playing a video game, and I know you're a video game person." I'm like, "Yeah, man. Like, hundreds of you are doing this to me." like, um, and my thought behind that was, well, those folks probably are going to look at DLC and be like, I already bought Animal Crossing. I don't want to do that again. But they might say, hey, man, fucking Nintendo Switch Online, I have a subscription to that anyway, and it's an upgrade, so I'll just pay the upgrade cost and play the hell out of Animal Crossing, and they'll convince themselves maybe they'll play Mario Kart or something like that. Like that was my thinking anyway. I was surprised that it turned out to be true. Like after that direct ended, I went downstairs and I looked at my wife and I'm like, we should probably go play the lottery or something. I'm feeling lucky today. I'm feeling extremely lucky.
Yeah, you really pulled it out. I'm not entirely sure how you managed it, but I'm happy that you were right because Happy Home Paradise specifically, like just outside of all the free update content, this looks super appealing to me. Like this
Yeah.
feels like I see some people saying like it's a smaller version of Happy Home Designer, and I'm feeling exactly the opposite. I
Smaller.
think this is significantly
This is
more
way bigger.
than Happy Home Designer. Um, the main game notwithstanding. So like $25, hell yeah, I'll pay for that. There's so much stuff in here.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does feel like they added a whole game onto Animal Crossing. Like
Basically.
another entire game. Uh and yeah, I feel like when I think about it, like $25, I'm like, I mean, Animal Crossing at $60 gave me hundreds of hours of enjoyment, right? And that is so I feel like I got way more than my money's worth with Animal Crossing already. And
Hmm.
if an extra $25 add-on can give me even 10 more hours of enjoyment, I'm still coming out on top with this thing. And I strongly believe it'll give me way more than that because, I'm not just going to design one room and be like, yeah, that was fun. I'm done now. I'm going to hang it up for another 5 years. I feel like I'm going to, the fact that you can, when you buy the DLC or you're sub to NSO and you get the DLC, that you can then take those skills back to your island and modify your own house in all these new ways because
Yep.
I think we all have like fully upgraded homes at this point with gigantic, like very Spartan rooms. And I've always thought, like, what am I gonna, how do I use this space? Like, I can't just fill it up with crap. I'm horrible about that. So I'm excited to have like the partition walls, all the rooms that I saw. I was like, God damn, I could do that. The different wallpapers, being able to swap wallpaper on each wall so you can have an
Yeah.
accent wall. And I can't believe we're not even talking about gyroids yet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
There's
it
a
like
lot to
got
get
lost
through.
in the shuffle because of how enormous this update is. When gyroids are back, and they're all kinds of different and have animations, and
They
Oh,
each
I'm
have
so
their
happy.
own animation. That's ridiculous.
yeah, and they grow by planting and watering them. Like I
And,
have so many questions. The
and
lore is
people
getting
smoke
deep.
comes out of the ground.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm so
it
happy.
is definitely kind of a wild thing to see just what Nintendo's been cooking up. Like it's the biggest update I think they've ever done to an existing game.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think I agree on that. Like Animal Crossing New Leaf got the Welcome Amiibo update, and that was fairly substantial. I mean, most
yeah.
of the content was new villagers and the RV system, but this just goes above and beyond it. Like even without Happy Home Paradise, I would almost consider the free update content to feel like a new iteration of Animal Crossing just
Oh,
because of how much
absolutely.
is in there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm hoping they put some more content into it, like in terms of quality of life stuff. Like I truly hope that they streamline how menus work. I understand why they wouldn't show it. I'm just really, really hopeful that they do something like that. I do want to take a quick break and read out a couple super chats because they're kind of relevant to something else that I wanted to talk about real quick.
Yeah.
I'm going to start off with $4.99 that came to us from Nadia. Says, "Hey GV gang, I recently came out as trans last week and I've been very happy ever since. Thought I'd spread the happiness. Love you guys. Heart, Nadia." Well, thank you, Nadia. Definitely appreciate that. I really I'm so proud of you. That takes a lot of courage, and I'm
Oh
happy
yeah.
that you're able to live, your own truth. So, congrats. That is definitely a big deal. And the reason I wanted to read out this other one is because it's related, and I haven't talked about it publicly yet. Brian Calabro with a $5 super chat says, "Want to thank Steve for supporting the Trevor Project with his upcoming gaming trivia collab. GVG once again putting money where their mouth is for us." Um, and so, for those of you that don't know, I tweeted it out, but I will be on MinMax on Monday as opposed to GVG. We will not be, or as opposed to TNT, we will not be doing an episode of TNT because Sora's coming out, and I will be on MinMax. I will be playing in their trivia game, and I am trying to win $1,000 for the Trevor Project. So, not that I'd ever want you guys to not come watch GVG, but if you want to go root for me, I will be doing my best to win that grand for the Trevor Project. And if you check out MinMax's Twitter, you can find out more about that.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I just I'm lucky to be. I'm going up against some real hard asses though. I've got my fingers crossed that I'll win. Like Steven Totillo from Axios will be there. Um, there's a huge list of folks. I think someone from Kind of Funny is on there. Basically, IGN is represented, I believe. But check out their tweet. They have a whole list. It's 24 people. I'll be playing against Imran Khan, former guest on the show. It's just a big, it's all for a good cause though. So come watch me get my ass kicked, or maybe hopefully win. um, but anyway, just wanted to get those out of the way. Uh, Thank you guys so much for the super chats. Congrats again to Nadia. That's a real big deal. Very proud of
Yeah.
you. Anyway, so back to Animal Crossing. Um, so I think it's a little interesting to delineate between what we saw, versus paid versus not paid. Um, I'm honestly a bit more excited for the happy home designer element of it, not just because I called it, but because one of the big issues I've had with Animal Crossing is that there's no objective, right? And that is kind of in a weird way the nature of the game. It's a game about nothing. Um, but once you catch all your fish and once you do all that other stuff, it really does feel like you're just in maintenance mode. And I think that's where most people fall off, where you're just maintaining the island day to day. You become a glorified groundskeeper.
That's basically when I stopped playing, is when I got to that point, and there was no way for me to feel like I could progress, I guess. Like, for me, it was like just waiting for the season to change so I could catch new fish and catch new bugs. Um, so yeah, I basically fell off. But I think, like with Happy Home Paradise, it's such a persistent kind of content, um, that I'll probably just keep playing that until I literally have no plots of land left on there to work on.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the
That's
thing. We have a lot of people have their own like objectives that they've set for themselves on their own island. Like they want to make this look like that, or they want to build an outdoor area that looks like exactly how they want to have it look, and they do all the construction and reworking that they need. But once that's over, it's like they don't really have much else to do. Like, they kind of just it kind of tapers off at that point, and then you're kind of just um tied to the schedule of the game itself, whether it's the time of day or the season itself. And having it's just it's a smart move to have elements from Happy Home Designer just come into the game now, because now, yeah, as you said, it gives people an objective, like it gives people something to do, and there's a lot to do with all the space that they had shown that's available to us. So having something like this, essentially adding on that game, works really well within the context of the game itself. Like, you know, I have both aspects of these two games, because I know a lot of people that didn't get into Happy Home Designer simply because like it wasn't the traditional Animal Crossing like feel that they wanted to get out of it.
yeah. I agree with that. I feel like one of the best things that they've done, and I agree that Happy Home Designer kind of needed to be part of a bigger game, like an actual traditional Animal Crossing game, because when I played it, it did feel just like something that would be a great mechanic in,
Hmm.
in a full-fledged game. And I actually mentioned back when I reviewed the game for GX that I was happy that some of the interior design controls made their way over from Happy Home Designer into New
Yeah.
Horizons at launch. I was like, "Oh man, I'm so glad they made it so much easier to rearrange my furniture. I don't have to like push it and rotate it every time.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I'm glad I can just go into a mode and map out my room." Um, but I do like the aspect of working with the other villagers and designing stuff for them. I think that that's a really fun way to add kind of a gamified element to Animal Crossing that it's kind of been missing. And I think that this will, like Brandon, you
Hmm.
said, I imagine that I'll be working on this for just hundreds of hours more. Like I'll just, log in, get a request from somebody. It makes I don't know if you have to craft the materials. I imagine you still have to craft stuff to put in their rooms, which again serves to make the crafting more gratifying because I have a reason to be crafting now.
Right.
It's not just
Hmm.
like, oh, I'd really like to have a teddy bear in this room. I'm gonna go dig this up, or yeah. So I think it'll make the rest of the game more interesting. The biggest thing for me though was in the free update, and that was that now we're no longer beholden to the game's schedule.
Oh my God. Yes.
And
Yeah,
I
in
love that
many
about this
ways.
so much. Like, let me buy, they let you buy the ability to have the village or the town open even earlier or stay open later, which
Right. With the
is a
new ordinances.
godsend. Yeah, the
Yeah,
ordinances. Like I
those are
desperately
from.
want to have, the night owl ordinance. That coupled with Brewster means that no matter what time I sign on, there will be something that I can do. Like I won't feel like, oh, I just logged into a desolate, empty town. Everybody's in their house for the night. Like I'm really happy that I can essentially get some nightlife in my town.
Yeah.
Yeah, another thing that helps with that all is now we can have visitors that would visit like once a week, like Red. You have other characters that have like their own little stalls, like Kicks. They now have their own dedicated spaces now, which helps so much more.
Yes.
There's
It's
a reason
so
to visit Fars
nice.
Island now.
There were so many types of visitor characters to your island that it like made it such a crapshoot to get the person that you, for one, needed at your island that day.
Hmm.
Yep.
So like when it came to Red, I know Steve, you mentioned this earlier. Like Red never comes to my town. I can't
Yep.
buy art.
Yeah, the way it works is like there's a random chance that that they'll visit from Monday to Friday, and if they don't visit that week, I think they're supposed to visit the next week, but
It's a
you don't know what
guarantee.
day.
Yeah.
It's still random, like what day, so you might not even be there the day that you need to have that certain villager visit. And
And
yeah,
as
Red is the one that just escapes us all.
Spicy Pandaughter mentions, like, when you go to Red, there's a chance you're gonna buy a fake piece of art if you're not like looking up to see which one's the right one.
Yeah.
So you might waste that opportunity in the first place. And I'm like, I just want to fill out my museum. Don't make it so hard. It makes me hurt on the inside.
I have like one statue. That's it. Everything else is just paintings, and it looks so incomplete in that area, and it hurts me.
Yeah. I don't want to go into the museum knowing that like it's incomplete because I can't complete it. And especially now that Brewster's in there, I'm gonna want to go into the museum.
Yep.
Speaking of Brewster, holy shit. It looks so cute.
Yes.
You can
Cozy,
sit there with
so
your
comfortable.
drink, with your friends, and you can call people. There was an amiibo function where you can call any villager you want, it looks like, and they'll come in and they'll have a they'll sit down with you.
Yeah,
I
it's like a little
wonder if
payphone, so it's functions like you just call the character up and you invite them over for coffee.
Isabel's free. She's finally free.
Yep.
She doesn't have to work all the time.
Real quick, I want to Itiono Ben asked what the Pro Construction license does. And that is what allows you to build more inclines and stairs on your island.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
it's 2 extra, right?
2 extra.
yeah, up to 10 each. So yeah, it's not a huge thing, but it's there. Yeah, and real quick, Nadia Brenner with a $4.99 super chat, which I swear to God I will pop up on the screen here as soon as it shows up in my feed. Says, I
Yeah, it
wanted to
takes a
give you
second.
guys some more. I've been following y'all since the GX days. You guys make my week. Thank you for the kind words earlier. Well, thank you, Nadia. Seriously.
Thank you.
Means a lot to us. It should have just appeared on screen. Also, I want to just read this one
Did.
out. I think it did show up. Hey guys, having a really bad day today, but your podcasts are still entertaining. Thank you for your hard work. Well, thank you for watching, listening, however you're enjoying GVG content. But yeah, I feel like I love the fact that Brewster has a cafe and that you actually see other villagers go to it. Like it's not just some place where you and you alone hang out. And the fact that
Yeah.
Isabel gets out, the fact that you could see Tom Nook and his kids like leave the shop for the first time ever and
know.
go to a vacation home. I was like, yes, this feels right. So I mean, we also got the amiibo the Series 5 amiibo cards. We got a date on those.
Yeah.
I know that Farina, one of our producers, has the entire collection, so I imagine she'll be collecting those as well. She graciously loaned them to me when Animal Crossing came out,
Oh,
so that I
wow.
could scan every single one for a video. I will never forget that kindness. Thank you so
Wow.
much. That
Super
was
nice. Yeah.
yeah. That was incredible.
I might be taking a trip to the store trying to get this new pack when it comes out.
Yeah. There's new villagers, like entirely new villagers in this pack
Yeah,
as well.
we got brand new villagers. Was it Shino? I think is the one that I saw that I liked.
Yeah, I think that was one for sure.
Yeah, it
I
was
already
like
I already
a
see
yeah,
fan
like
art
a
of some of these
goat with
characters.
horns. Definitely down to get a Shino amiibo card. Wow, they've even got a wiki page already. People
It's all
are-
about Nico for me. The
Little monkey.
he works the monkey from the Happy Home Paradise Happy Home Paradise expansion. He's so cute. I'm going to invite him to coffee as soon as I possibly can.
nice. I'm trying to remember if the Happy Home Paradise trailer had like a whale in it. Wardell.
Yeah,
Wardell.
Wardell.
Yes.
I had to look him up.
Like Wendell's brother or something.
He's
Yeah.
so good.
I love him.
He's
I
a
love him
unit.
so much. It's basically me in Animal Crossing form.
There was I forget exactly what he said, but there was a shot in the direct where he's like, you're sitting on the beach looking at the sunset with him, and he says something like existential, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I want. Give me existentialism in my Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I mean, we saw
Um,
Reese and Cyrus are back too. Oh, hey.
Yeah,
we've been
retail's
joined.
back.
Yeah. You got a lot of stuff. You got like captains there to ferry you from island to
Yes!
island. Like, oh man, I'm so glad to see him back.
Captain is
Speaking
here.
of glad to see,
just
Hold on, I
in
don't
time.
have
I
video
was
for
hoping
me yet.
to stave off any discussion about the other major topic for tonight's episode until Ash showed up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, they can't hear you. I don't think.
not yet. Brandon is
Yeah,
adding you. For
because
those of you that can't hear, Ash just joined us. We're getting him added into the show right now. As soon as he appears, let me see. Maybe his
Did his link change? Because I put it in
it
already.
may have changed. Let me get it for you. Give us just a sec here, folks. We want to get Ash into the action as soon as possible here. Let's see. I'm gonna DM you his URL, Brandon.
Okay.
Or actually, I'll just put it in this group text of ours.
Hmm.
Hope he goes in.
In the meantime, chat, what are you most excited about in this Animal Crossing
Yeah,
update?
let us know in the chat what you are most excited for from the Animal Crossing updates that we all got to take a look at today.
'Cause
There
there
he
is
is.
a lot going on with this update. I'm sad that there's no Puzzle League minigame like in New Leaf, but oh well.
All right,
Yeah,
Ash.
not-
I think we can hear you
Am
now.
I on? Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Ooh.
One
Too
second.
much.
coming in just a little
We
bit
can hear
hot. Sora levels of hot.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. I'll adjust you. Keep talking.
Okay, talking. Hey everybody. Thanks so much for being so patient. I'm sorry I'm late. I had an appointment with my tax accountant that ran late, which that tells you the kind of Friday I've had. Adulting, fun.
Oh,
So
yeah,
yeah,
of
I
course.
basically rushed. I was supposed to sign some tax forms way earlier today, but it ended up going super late, and so I had to rush home. At like literally, I signed at like 3:55 and had to rush home to get Don to the show as quickly as possible. So I'm here now. Thank you so much for being so patient and understanding. How's everybody doing?
We are doing well.
Cool.
So we were just
Mhm.
discussing Animal Crossing, but I figure that you being here and this super chat that just came in make for a perfect segue to our second topic.
Nice.
I'm going to go ahead and throw this super chat up on screen. It's $5 from K9 Biscuits, and it says, "Hope Nintendo makes exclusive games for the online service. At least then it'll be worth it. N64 Online sounds good, but nobody else I know will buy it." Um, and that's essentially what we wanted to devote the second half of the show to, because we were surprised first off that Nintendo actually announced the pricing of NSO's expansion pack at the Animal Crossing Direct. I don't think we
Right.
expected that info there. That we got a date for it, and yeah, essentially that it's way more expensive than most of us predicted.
Way more expensive
Yeah.
than I think any of us. I didn't see anybody predicting that it would be an 150% price increase, at least here in the U.S. I know it's
It's
a
a
100%
lot.
increase in the U.K.
It's
It is
And
a hell of a lot.
yeah.
it's a big
I mean,
one.
and I count myself among those people. I remember sitting here a few weeks ago saying, I think $20 has been fair for what Nintendo offers in their service, more than fair given NES and SNES. And so I sat here, my pure ass self, saying, yeah, well, Nintendo will probably, there's going to be a little bit more expensive, maybe $5, $7, but not 30.
I was
never expected that.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing. I think this is classic Nintendo miscommunication. And the reason I say that is if you remember just a few months ago, right here on TNT, we discussed what everyone thought at the time was the extremely high probability of Game Boy coming to Nintendo Switch Online. And then we got N64 announced, and everyone was kind of surprised that it was N64 instead of Game Boy. There's also the fact that if a report came out today indicating that Emily Rogers tweeted about some theories she had on why NSO is so much more expensive now, and that in her view, it comes down to licensing costs. And that apparently Sega Genesis was a big reason why NSO is so much more expensive for the expansion pack than say, then people probably expected it to be. And I will fully admit that we were live when we found the pricing out, and I was way thrown off. I was trying to do some mental gymnastics to convince myself that it wasn't 150% increase, that it was way less than that, but nope. I was wrong. $35 all the way up to $80. That's for a family plan. I'm on,
For a family plan, yeah.
I got kids, so $50 if you're on the normal one, $80 if you're on the family plan, which is wild. I think that is
Yeah.
a whole lot of money to ask for essentially N64 and Genesis games, and then Animal Crossing DLC. My personal pet theory with this is that they're leaving room open to add additional consoles. Like, they've intentionally padded the cost of this so that they won't have to increase it again when they add, say, Game Boy or, hopefully GBA, maybe GameCube. I can dream, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's my issue with it is, if that's what your plan is, if you're going to charge this much money, then you need to tell people what the plan is ahead of time, not after you've this is a hard sell right now for most people.
Yeah.
I think $50, I said this during our Animal Crossing stream. That is, you're inviting comparisons to much more competent services at this point.
Yep.
Exactly. And that's the problem. I can pay $60 a year for PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live Gold, or to say nothing of Game Pass, and get a much better online experience than I've ever gotten with Nintendo Switch Online. But that was okay up until now, because up until now, it was only $20 for everything you wanted to get. And, I didn't mind paying that for NSO, but man, $50 for what is essentially, for me, just adding N64 and Genesis games, the vast majority of which are already available on the Sega Genesis Classics Collection, which I also have.
I do too.
I gotta say, and the Animal Crossing DLC means nothing to me as a non-Animal Crossing fan. I don't hate it. I'm just not a hardcore fan. I don't really care. So for me, that value may as well not exist. And I wish there were multiple price points, like an add-on, like a package type feature where you can pick and choose what you want, because I pay for N64 games. I'd probably pay for the Genesis games, especially once they add games that aren't in the Genesis collection. But $50 a month for DLC I'm never going to use, that doesn't make sense for me at all. And I was the one sitting here saying, oh, Nintendo has me by the balls, I'll pay probably whatever, thinking there's no way it's going to be more than $10 increase. Ended up being 30.
If I wasn't in an 8-person family plan and also an Animal Crossing fan, I probably wouldn't bite on this, because luckily for me, I split it with 7 other people, and for us it'll come down to $10 a year.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say is that in a family plan, I play Animal Crossing, Ashley plays Animal Crossing, 2 of my kids play Animal Crossing, so the 4 of us getting access to the DLC makes it worth it by itself, because that means that I'd pay $100 to get each person the DLC, where I can pay $80 for the entire year to get the DLC for everyone and this. My question that I have, a very big question, is what happens to that DLC if I quit NSO? If next year I don't renew, am I now out? Do I have to go spend $100 if I want to keep it, or do I have to resub? I'm very curious what happens to the games or the DLC you're entitled to, because we do know that if you unsub or you don't renew NSO, you lose access to other things that you've got, right? I've never bothered to see if any of the little DLC that they've offered for Animal Crossing or even for Smash over NSO, I don't know if that stops working, but I'd have to look into it. Apparently someone is saying Eurogamer has the answer to that question, so I'll have to look.
They did confirm it. They did.
So you lose access?
You lose access to the archipelago, but you keep all the items and features that you can use outside of that.
All right.
Yeah,
it's not terrible, but it's not great either.
Yeah.
But that is the weird thing, right? Your mileage will definitely vary depending on what kind of gamer that you are using this kind of expansion. Even within our own circle, like Ash mentioned, he doesn't play Animal Crossing, so that is useless to him as far as having the expansion pass and getting access to N64 or Genesis games. On the other side of the coin, there are many people like your moms and dads that only got into Animal Crossing that will want to maybe like dabble with this with the Happy Home Paradise, but they're not going to care about NSO games, about the N64, about Genesis. Like they're going to just want to utilize what is interesting to them, and that kind of devalues it. So your value for this changes depending on who you are, you know. I was afraid they were gonna like keep on add, like if they added GameCube or like Game Boy Advance, like hopefully they won't add they won't increase the price, like they're just padding it
I
out
don't
right now
I don't think you can increase the price after this point.
at this
No.
point.
If you
no.
do, the PR would
Yeah.
be so bad. It'd be like, yeah, it'd be PR suicide.
Yeah.
You
Well,
can't do that.
I don't think you should, and I don't think, given the kind of rollout plan or strategy we've seen from Nintendo up till now, I don't think that they would ever do something. The problem is, and I think no matter where you sit on this debate, is that the value proposition for NSO has become incredibly lopsided. Whether
Yes.
you like Animal Crossing or not, we look at, and I, again, it's inviting this comparison, but you look at Game Pass and the perceived value there is ridiculous. Like, most people that have Game Pass go like, holy hell, how does this work? Like, how are they making money off this?
Yeah.
Whereas with NSO, especially if you're not getting the Animal Crossing DLC, it leaves you wondering, like, how does it cost this much? Like, how it's like the inverse of Game Pass. Like, you look at it and you're just like, what am I paying for? Like, what am I giving you so much money to get? And if you take that $25 retail price for the DLC and you multiply it over however many people are on your family plan, if you're on a family plan, then you're like, okay, kind of. But I mean, I feel like Nintendo is leaning too hard on how high they've priced the Animal Crossing DLC to make this look like a good value. And I think that what they're not realizing is that most folks inherently understand that they don't own that DLC, which
Yeah.
is different, so they know, like, I'm still paying monthly for this DLC and I will be forever. I think the right way to do this, the right way, and I just don't fully understand why Nintendo seems to have issues with this, would have been, okay, NSO is fucking expensive. We understand that it's very expensive, but here's what we're going to do. All of our first party shit from all the consoles we support will be available on this new NSO right now. And if you don't want to pay for it and you want to go the $20 a year route, we'll still drip feed you these games. But the guys with the upgraded pass get a ton of stuff available immediately. And people might cry foul, but they'd have the option. And I got to admit, if I had all the Mario games, all the Zelda games, all the Metroid games on a service that cost me $80 a year, I'd be like, that's a pretty damn good deal. I'm okay with that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it would also be an easier sell too if Nintendo's actual online experience and infrastructure were at least in some way a little more comparable to the competition. Again, like I said, when it was just $20 a year, it didn't really matter. You knew you were paying less for a lesser online experience, and that was okay, at least to me. But then when you added, when you make it $30 more a year just for N64, Genesis, and Animal Crossing DLC, but the actual quality of the online infrastructure is unchanged, that's a much tougher sell. And I'll probably I'll sit here and be honest. I'll probably get it for the first tier just because I can get, the price difference. I only pay the remaining $30 and I get it for the year. Okay, cool. I'll give it a shot and see, if I feel it's worth having the N64 and Genesis games outside of the Genesis collection. But when you're not talking about improving the baseline quality of your online play in games that have been around on the Switch since launch, like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I still get communication errors more often than not in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now, to be fair, I seem to have a much better online experience with Smash than most people do. So it seems to be, kind of your mileage may vary. But still,
But it shouldn't.
But it
you have that
shouldn't.
discrepancy, there
Exactly.
shouldn't
I was about to
be a
say that. It
discrepancy.
shouldn't. It should be better for everybody across the board, especially for games that have been on the Switch since at or near launch. And the fact that itself isn't being improved makes this price increase a lot harder to swallow, especially when, like me, you're not into Animal Crossing and this DLC just holds no value for you.
Agreed.
I can definitely anticipate that going forward, other DLCs and expansion passes for games will come to this new tier.
Yeah, I
Because
think so.
I think
Mhm.
I think Splatoon 3 is a guarantee in that regard. I think there will be some element to Splatoon 3 that you'll get some kind of benefit for having the expansion pass, whether that be like another type of Octo expansion thing or maybe even something that's online. I don't know, but I don't think it ends here. Um, that said, I personally, if licensing fees for third party stuff is contributing to the price, I say nix all of that. I don't care. I don't need Genesis games. Like you said, there's a collection already that I already own. um,
Yeah.
so I would rather take the lower price, just get first party games, N64 titles, what have you, and pay less. I'd be
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfectly
Lack
fine with
of
that.
options.
Yeah.
I want to read out a couple super chats right now because they're pretty relevant to what we're talking about. They already popped up on screen, but I want to read them out here. Darchi with a $5 super chat says for $50 a year, they should incentivize even more like PSN Plus by offering free games to permanently keep every month. Which, yeah, I agree 100%. I think that's
Yeah.
part of the like initially $60 before PSN had any free games felt like they were overcharging a bit because it was just online access, right? Um, and I do like the idea of having just a couple games every month that you can just download and keep whether you continue using the service or not. I think that has
Mhm.
become the norm. And when you're playing in the same pricing tier as those same folks, then you do need to offer something. Even the DLC honestly should be something you get to keep as part of your subscription. Losing
Right.
it seems
Yeah.
awfully stingy. And Nintendo, has probably the greatest back catalog of all time. They could throw us an NES game or something every month and never run out. But
You get
the
the stuff you don't want, like Urban Champion, though. You
Oh
wouldn't get
It
yeah,
the
doesn't
cool
even
stuff.
need to
You
be in there
get-
forever. Just make it like a
Mhm.
limited time thing, like on other platforms. The Animal
yeah,
Crossing
Mhm.
expansion pass is available for 3 months. If you subscribe in those 3 months, you keep the DLC forever. I think that's a way better proposition.
yeah.
Um,
To speak to what you were saying, Brandon, I think a lot of people and this kind of shows you where the value proposition is at. A lot of people are trying to like make assumptions, right? Like you just did with the DLC, oh, Nintendo's going to add other DLC, but the thing is we don't actually know that. We we have no way
We're
of knowing it,
assuming it.
right? We're
Yeah.
assuming it
They
because
might
it's the
not.
only way to wrap
I'm
our
not
heads
even
around
assuming. I'm
the
just
idea.
hoping.
Well, yeah, that's fair. We're hoping this, but it's the idea is that Nintendo will make this price make sense later on. And that's kind of like the best hope we have. I agree that
Yeah.
if they continue it like a steady cadence of okay, Splatoon 3's out, we're going to give you Splatoon 3 add-on content for free. All right, that might keep me subscribed. It might keep me
Or
interested.
they could just give us Splatoon 3, just outright.
Yeah.
It's an
I
online game.
highly
I
doubt
love you,
that.
man. I
Yeah,
love
I
your
highly
optimism.
doubt that. That would never
I'm not
happen.
being optimistic. Remember the Wii U when they gave you like I think if you bought Mario Kart, you just got a first party title for free.
Oh yeah, it's how I got Wii
Yep.
U Party because that's all
They've
I
done
didn't
this
have out of the
before.
selection.
But
But
this was
they needed with the Wii U.
Yeah, I
They
was
were in
gonna
a
say,
dire
you're
Wii U was
straits
talking
with
not.
the Wii U.
Yeah, you're talking about Nintendo on their back foot versus Nintendo in a dominant position. And I hate to say it, but having covered this industry for so long, Nintendo in a dominant position,
Yeah.
like they
They'll
almost
grip
like
you.
start just shooting at their own feet to see what'll happen. Like they get
really
too
do.
confident.
They man play honestly. All the big three have kind of been guilty of this at different times in history. When any of them have gotten on top in a dominant position, they start getting a little bit too big for their britches and getting a little arrogant. And I mean, we saw this with Sony in the PS3, right? We saw it with Microsoft and the Xbox One, and we're seeing it now with Nintendo and the Switch. We saw it with them again with the N64. So it's just seems to be a little bit cyclical. I
The
love what
difference
Spicy
with
Pandotter.
the
Oh, go ahead.
difference in those situations is that the shoot in the foot didn't happen to the next platform. For Nintendo,
True.
it's happening right now.
True.
As it's happening.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think it's going to have a chilling effect on the Switch in general. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that the expansion pass is going to do great numbers at the start. It may not do what they expect performance wise in terms of subscription numbers, but I don't really see it having a knock on effect on the Switch in general. At least I hope it won't. But I would be surprised if a lot of people jumped onto the expansion pass at this price right away until they show us over a longer period of time just how are they going to add value to that price point, over the months. Is it going to include DLC for other games? Is it going to include, how will we get more than 1 to 3 games every 3 months for Genesis and N64? There are quite a few unanswered questions. I love Spicy Pandotter's suggestion here in the live audience chat, saying add in something like the Mi Plaza from 3DS. I love Street Pass so much. If I know it's different with Switch, but something a little extra, some extra game, something like Badge Arcade or something that would at least set this tier apart a little bit more. And I can tell you right now how you get me to pay for it. The $50 a year. And I think I said $50 a month by accident earlier. I'm sorry, I just misspoke. I know it's 50 a year. $50 a year instantly is justified for me if you bring back Super Mario Brothers 35. I'm just saying, make it an exclusive perk. An exclusive perk, Super Mario 35 for people at that higher tier. I would pay it in a second, Nintendo. In a second. I'm just saying. For me, I know, but I also love Mario 35. I know it's not for everybody, but I
like the game.
Yeah, same.
I'm not gonna pull the trigger for that alone.
Yeah, I don't know. I was obsessed with it, so they probably would have me by the balls there. But until something like that happens, like I said, I'll pay for the first year. I'll pay for the difference. Feel it out. But I just feel like they're gonna have to add a little bit more value before I feel comfortable paying $50 a year with the actual online infrastructure not being improved even a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. The online infrastructure is a pretty big deal. I like what Darnell Woodard is saying in our YouTube chat. Miiverse. If you brought Miiverse back and put that on NSO, I'd be down for that. Miiverse was just the right kind of weird.
I love Miiverse.
Crawl.
Yeah.
I miss Miiverse so much. That Mario 35. If you just added some ancillary stuff like that, just something a little bit to set it apart more than just the N64 and Genesis games, because again, the Animal Crossing DLC only counts and applies at all if you're an Animal Crossing player. If you're not, that's just wasted money. It's just it's wasted.
Someone in the chat saying to get the Miiverse people off of Twitter. No, keep them in Twitter. That's where I need them. Without a Miiverse, I need them somewhere.
Yes, exactly.
They're definitely trying this structure with one of their most popular games on the Switch being Animal Crossing. I don't know if they would have tried this kind of structure with any other games. Maybe if they did something for like Mario Kart 8, which is also one of their top selling. But there's just such a discrepancy in like value for each individual person, and I think waiting to see what happens, waiting to see like what do they add to this, how can they sweeten this for a lot of people that are still on the fence, and many people are on the fence. Like
I know you think it's unlikely, but I could see a world where they put their very big online focused game Splatoon 3 in that position, because you have a lot of companies doing that now, where their big multiplayer game is free, and then they find other ways to incentivize and monetize. But if Nintendo puts that in their service and gets you to pay that way, then they can still offer the game at $60 for people who don't do that. I think they're leaving money on the table in that situation.
Yeah.
I could see that being a big driver. If Splatoon 3 went free to play with an NSO Plus or whatever they call it, subscription, NSO expansion pack subscription, which by the way, an objectively terrible name, but they
it's really bad. Like
it's a mouthful. But anyway, if they did that, then I think that it would do really well. Hinaru77 mentions Fall Guys. Fall Guys would be perfect for that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
If they made Fall Guys for Switch
at some point.
Yeah, maybe that's
where
why.
it is.
Eventually,
maybe it got delayed and they.
It's being part of this now. That's why
that would actually be really incredible. But again, it comes down to the fact that if that's in the cards, if something like that is planned, you got to announce that before the price. Like that is how you soften the blow of this price. If you said, "Hey, look, we're going to charge you know, we're raising the price by 150%. It's optional, which I get. Okay, that softens it a little bit because you have to opt in. It's not like you can't be online. But then, you know, we're also gonna every now and then have a full $60 game that is just free for you.
Mhm.
Hell yeah. If it was like a, because I mean the one thing is that as much as I love PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Gold, right, the free games they give, they're usually like older games that people aren't super excited about.
What was that system Nintendo did? I want to say it was a couple years ago. There was like a voucher thing. You
Oh
could
yeah.
buy
Yeah.
vouchers.
Oh
I-
yeah, that was weird.
I hate to break it to you, Brandon, but they only stopped doing that here. It's still going on everywhere else.
Oh, well,
Jeez.
I'm not
Yep.
upset that it's gone. I'm just saying that could be a perk. Like
Oh man,
once a
Nintendo
year,
Switch-
they just give you a voucher or something.
that would be cool. I would totally be down for that. I mean, that's two first party games for free every year. Yeah, I would take it. I
Yeah.
mean, Nintendo first party games never go on sale.
Never.
Kind of to piggyback off of that, Spicy Pandora also made a great point earlier in the live audience chat, saying what I don't understand is why there's such a price difference between the UK and US, and that is wild. Usually it's the other way around. Oftentimes things are more expensive on the UK side of things, but for them it's $40 a year, and for us it's a whole $10 more than that, and that's really weird. You think there would at least be parity one way or the other. That's just
Yeah.
that's bizarre to me.
Yeah, it is definitely really strange to see the fact that, you know, they got 100% increase and we got 150% increase. That's
Right.
a
Yeah.
big difference. And I wonder, you know, it does kind of lend credence to Emily Rogers' theory that it's due to licensing.
Right.
Just because, I mean, I imagine that those deals had to be worked out by territory since different rights holders exist in different regions. And maybe it just was a bit more equitable for Nintendo on the UK side of things.
Maybe. And I
I-
mean, and not to ever disrespect classic Sega games. I love old school Sega. I love Sega in general. But if it is because of Sega and the Genesis games, God, man, I would have been perfectly happy keeping it to just N64, maybe eventually Game Boy, and just getting the Genesis Classics collection, which I already have. But if that is the main reason, just that is the main reason for the monumental price increase, I got to say I would jettison that in favor of just a more attractive price point in 64 to start, Game Boy later on. And I say that as somebody who loves Genesis and Sega in general.
Yeah, I have to say the thing that strikes me as odd is I think the smart move here, if Genesis is what's, you know, really inflating the cost of NSO, bring back the virtual console shop. Let
Yeah.
Sega sell their games on your virtual
Yeah.
console shop and let them take all the profits from those games because you still get the benefit of those existing on your platform in
Wasn't
like a
part of
Nintendo
her-
sanctioned way.
Yeah.
Wasn't part of Emily Rogers' speculation that Sega was unhappy with the virtual console model in the first place?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it was.
But I think that was a revenue sharing issue.
Okay.
And I'm saying, you know, let Sega just keep all the money from those sales because really all Nintendo wants is the games on the platform, right? I doubt Nintendo is like, God damn, these Sega games going to make us so much money. Like, it is just a feather in your cap at that point. Give Sega, you know, a better than normal deal so that you can have Genesis games on your platform to begin with. Help them negotiate the rights if it's that important to you, and maybe not pass along the licensing costs directly to the consumer. I don't know. There's probably a better way to do this. Real quick, we have a $5 super chat from Late Night Sprites, which should be on screen now.
It
It
is.
says PS Plus maybe 60, but you get 2 games a month. Quality may vary. I say bring back Club Nintendo with IRL goodies for $50 members. Hell yeah. They're like weirdly
I missed
inching
that.
back to that. Like
Uh-huh.
now we
Slowly.
get weird like what's it called now? Not Club Nintendo.
My Nintendo.
Mine.
Yeah, we get My Nintendo
Right,
physical
My
goods,
Nintendo.
but they're not quite as cool as what we had back in the heyday of Club Nintendo.
They're
I
starting to get
miss
better.
Club Nintendo. It's starting to kind of come back a little bit, but it still has not gotten back to the point that it was back in the glory days of Club Nintendo. Like I really
No.
really do miss that.
I have some of my end of year rewards still on my shelf. That system was so
Nice.
neat.
I always
Uh,
wanted the Mario Kart trophies. I never got them. But
I couldn't
Oh,
get
and-
him either.
And actually, Town Darling mentioned that in our live audience chat, saying, "Remember when we just get free stuff with Club Nintendo, and then they just stopped." Yeah, yeah.
Nintendo got a Nintendo.
By the way,
I-
not that we need to read it out again, but I just wanted to say, address a previous super chat from before I got here. Congratulations, Nadia. That's awesome. All the love to you. That's really cool.
Mhm.
I saw all the congratulations in the chat. And I didn't know what it was about, but I scrolled up. I see it. Congratulations. That's awesome, and we're really happy to hear it. So just wanted to give
Nice.
you my congratulations as well.
Very
I
cool, very
think
cool.
I would even settle for something like double gold coins or gold points on the eShop, because
There are
they did
so
that
many
for,
things you could do.
there-
Yeah.
they did
options.
that for Wii U, for people who bought the deluxe edition, and I got so many free games just from all the points I got from the eShop, like
Yep.
tons of free games, just because
Mhm.
of how valuable it was. Give
I-
me
I-
something. This isn't enough.
One of the things that I thought was kind of a funny consequence of being a game reviewer during the Wii U era was that I did have the deluxe. I bought, most people bought the deluxe. And because of that promotion, every time I got a review code for a game, I got double points, but I didn't spend anything. And so eventually I just had like free games from my free games, which was
That even
Amazing.
happened to me, and I wasn't getting review codes. So like I'd get a game with my points that netted me so many points that I could buy another game.
God, I miss
Nice.
System
Desperate Nintendo.
broke itself.
Me too. I don't want them to fail, but
Yeah. Hinaru77 in our YouTube chat said, "Oh, Ash, I got Tetris Effect connected because of you, and I enjoy it. Thank you very much. I'm so glad to hear that. That's awesome. And yeah, Tetris Effect by itself is amazing, but connected, I tried it as well, and it's
Oh, yeah.
really a cool multiplayer mode. And I was thinking it'd be really cool to have as one of our EP streams, one of these upcoming,
Oh yeah.
weekends. That'd be a lot of
multiplayer
fun.
connected is like a surreal experience.
It's awesome. Yeah, it really
Yeah.
is.
Nice. Real quick, we do have one more super chat here from AxeCon with $2 saying Nintendo should just buy Sega. I feel like that was a thing that was talked about in the
I've
GameCube
heard that one
era.
before.
Yeah, I would like to see it.
Definitely.
I think that the two of them would work really well together. But I also feel like Sega isn't what Sega used to be. So yeah, I don't know that Nintendo would be interested anymore. But we do have real quick, let's go around and let's just talk about I'm just going to ask directly, and I have a feeling I know what everyone's going to answer. Are you going to subscribe to the NSO expansion pack? Brandon, let's start
I
with
will, but really it's just because I play Animal Crossing and most of the people in my family plan do, and I split the cost with them. So like for me it's going from $4 to like 9 or 10. It's not that big a deal.
It's fair. Makes sense.
Mhm.
How about you, Ash?
Because I can pay the difference for the first year, yes. But if I had to like pay the full price on top of what I'd already subscribed to, like my base subscription, probably not. I gotta say. I guess, and we'll see. I'll plead the fifth in terms of will I renew it for another year. I'm gonna have to wait to see if any value has been added to this tier above and beyond Animal Crossing DLC I'm never gonna use. So the first year, yes, because I can just add on to it and pay the difference. After that, I'm just gonna have to wait and see.
All right. How about you, Daniel?
Yeah, as far as this goes, I'll be getting the expansion as well, for N64 games, for mostly Animal Crossing as well, because that's the game I've invested a lot of time into, and they really showcase a whole bunch of features that were missing and were much needed and wanted. And also because I already bought the freaking N64 controller, I have to use it. They got me. Okay, I'm part of the problem. I'm part of
And
the
that was
issue.
50 more bucks.
Yeah.
It's
And they're already
literally more
sold out.
expensive for me to buy the DLC separate than it is to subscribe to the expansion pass right now. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
where I'm at.
Can't we just like have the DLC be something separate that we can buy individually and not be tied in, locked in with this expansion pack? Would have been so nice, but they know people are gonna get it. They know people are gonna buy it anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So,
One
man.
thing I do like the idea here from I've never heard this. Zane Mosney, I hope I said that correct in our YouTube chat, says the controller should come with a year NSO voucher. Hell yeah. That
That'd
is
be nice.
Yeah,
a
that's
hell of
good
a
idea.
Trojan
Awesome.
horse.
Mhm.
It's a power
Yeah,
move.
obviously for me, I'm definitely upgrading. I have 4 people in my house that want the Animal Crossing DLC, so it's cheaper for me to subscribe than it is to buy that
Mhm.
DLC 4 times. Which again is another shortcoming of the service, in my opinion. If you're on a family account, you should be able to share purchases. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. It would incentivize me to buy a lot more digital games. Um, but that's not how it works. It probably never will be how it works. Um, but I do want to just wrap this up by saying I feel like Nintendo, has mismanaged the announcement of this thing. It absolutely should have come with like a longer roadmap of what they plan. And I think one
Yeah.
of the things that they have yet to prove is how they're going to continue to release N64 and Genesis content in a way that satisfies people that are now paying far more than they did before. I
And
think
win.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like they're already
Okay.
saying like, "Oh, Majora's Mask is coming." And they said, "Oh, more Genesis games are coming." I need hard dates. For
Yeah.
$80 a year, I need to know exactly when I'm getting stuff. Like I don't care if I know what it is, but I need to know when it is. Like I need to know every month you're going to get 2 N64 games and 3 Genesis games. I mean, all right, not an ideal amount, but if you're going to tell me once every 5 months we're going to release like 4 games and they're going to be different ones in different regions and you're going to have to check 15 different apps to figure out what came out, that I don't think the current strategy for that's going to fly, and they definitely need to be
Right.
way more aggressive with their releases and way more communicative, because the more you're expecting us to pay, the more you have to rise to that expectation. Like, there is a lot of shoulder shrugging and saying NSO is $20. This thing sucks, but it's $20. This thing, they don't do messaging, but hey, it's $20. No voice chat, or voice chat on a shitty phone app, but it's like a dollar and a half a month. Now it's
Yeah.
in line with Xbox Live and PlayStation Plus, and they have been setting that bar pretty high for years now. So
Yeah.
you gotta
Yeah.
step up your game.
I implore
Late
you
night-
to find a group of friends or family members. Find as many people as you can. Get into a family plan. Just
Yeah.
do it.
I was about to ask
That's what I
all of
do,
you.
too.
Anybody have an open slot in a family plan I can join?
Hey, I do.
I
You want to
do.
join mine?
Oh,
man?
really?
I'll,
You wanna
I'll take
join my
a small discount on NSO.
Dude, I will
I-
totally join yours, Steve, and I'll go in with you, man. Absolutely.
Nice.
Look at
I've
these
got
2
4
guys
slots, so-
fighting for the
Let's do
spot.
it.
Okay.
I've got
I guess,
more than
I
one.
guess Steve
I'll-
will just claim Ash. Fine. I see how it is.
Hey, I'll claim you too if you need it.
Yeah, I'll
I'm
totally
already
split
paying
that
one.
with you, man.
I'm already paying one,
Nice.
so I would just leave like 5 people in the dark. Oh well.
There we go.
Every man
Late-
for himself now.
Late Night Sprites choosing violence here in the live audience chat, saying, Ash, what if NSO $50 members get Rocco and Nick All-Stars Brawl, but only $50 members?
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
And
man.
he specifically got Ash.
I know, right? I do want to highlight something Gesso Lantern said, though, in our live audience chat as well, saying the price isn't high enough for me to reconsider getting the expansion pass. The N64 and Genesis libraries are 100% new to me, so it's completely worth it for me. And I think that's an
Totally
important
fair.
point. We're
Yeah,
all
see-
speaking from the perspective of having played pretty much every N64 and Genesis game we're getting. Maybe not every single one of
Yeah.
them, but most of them. And, if all those games are 100% new to you, that I gotta say, I could see why paying $50 a month is worth it. There are so many bona fide classics in this lineup,
Mhm.
and that's different if they're all completely new to you. 100%.
Yeah, I agree
definitely.
with that 100%. All right, folks. So normally this is the time of the show where I'd ask our guests where they're from, but there isn't a guest. We're all GVG here tonight. Yeah, where did our
Wow.
guests go? But
They've
this has been a
ascended.
weird episode. I appreciate you guys hanging in with us while we solve some technical issues. There is one last technical issue that I'm super excited to announce, and it's not my camera looking like whatever the hell I'm looking like right now. It is the fact that because we had to switch streaming hosts, thank you, Brandon, for actually running the stream in the back end for us tonight. That means that the credits are not going to happen the way they happen. So as is tradition here on GVG, I'm going to read out all like 189 names that would appear in the credits. So
Oh boy.
taking a deep breath
I'm
here. So as it is tradition here on GVG, especially when the credits don't work, we want to give thanks to all our patrons. All of you guys help us to keep the lights on here and to keep this show happening 3 nights a week. We literally could not afford to do it without you. So I appreciate you guys carving out a little bit of that NSO money and pledging to our Patreon. It means the world to us. But we have to give a special thanks to our patrons at the producer tier and above. And I'm just going to read out our producers first, followed by our EPs. But those folks that are kind enough to support us at the producer tier include Jared Edinger, Jacob One, Kurosame, Michael Walburn, Felix Nebulous, Don Koopman, Kevin Online, Sonic Kurosaki, Nick Munger, Arkwing 24, Ben Madron, Chase Talbot, Ben Hannigan, Chickens, I like that name, Joshua Wiseman, Iggy Coop, Kirindas, Feeling Dreepy, Meow Sticks, Ariel H, Blind Man, Ryan Sardon Keller, Shuckle 25, Darts, DJ Andy D, Joseph Bayer, Pedro Vasquez, Tony, Albie the Floof, that's a good name too, Ian Seabach, Ben Frick, Guy of Guyness, Ben Morelli, Emil, Farina Renice, Renice or Renice? I apologize, Farina, but that is our friend who has all the Animal Crossing cards. Andy Chung, PK Gaming, Legend of Jest, Shoichi, Chris Lewis, Daniel Codd, Bo Blacks, Gold Lighting? I'm going to say Gold Lighting. I apologize if I said that incorrectly. Smoko 13, Michael Abuda, Akil P, Hello World, Alan Leung, Kristen 10, 2025, Coops Crib, Toast Cross Dimensions, Mega Amster, Nicholas Van Roven, Dean Evinger Jr., Chip Damage Mike, Basola, Jeff Ed, Ghost Wolf, Jack Hines, Blaze Star 25, Inferno Cali, sorry, just Inferno, Taco My Salad, Jax, Willow Pingree, Gassan Abanura, Maya Caraway, The Frieza Force, oh shit, Klaxon, and Klaxon. Thank you so much to each of our producers. But as you know, continuing on, we do have to give an extra special thank you to our patrons at the executive producer tier and above. Let's go again. And those folks are Brandon Bovia, Rob Arman X, Fangs, Dan and Twistle, Z Patty, Hyrule Hermit, Sky Blue Flames, Adam O'Sullivan, Octopuppet, Richard Herrera, Michael Phone, The D-Pad, Vesmio, Waffle King, Romsky 113, Critter XD, Kitty Kong Facts, Angel Martinez, Vedron Hotik, Joshua Hunter, Evernight Studio, Benny Yao, Azran 127, Black King, Pagrema, Geller, Joseph Rutkin, Titus Malvolio, Geeky Griffin, Lucky Wonderfish, Kyle, Top Dog 23100, Young Ben Kenobi, Doug Shomix, Andrew Medeiros, Orem M, Sakuragi, Becca, Killamox, Fizzywig Hoyd, The Legend of Groose, Eddie B, Kayed, Kit Fisto, Kenneth Lee Stingle, Deaneth, Kota, Sci-Fi Lullabies, Michael McCaw, Matthew Wong, Goron Amber, Straight Lace, Justin Matthews, Hoobie, Too Much Spaghetti, Mega Conrad, Ascaron 809, Rioner, Ditto M, Captain Finlandia, 60 Minutes and 60 Seconds, Spicy Pandaughter, The Game Orb, Dano the Artist, Super Gamer Dude 101, Grantles, Ravelox, Synchro Lord, My Mom, Hi Mom, Kotar Peck, Scuff 196, Kane Woolley, Skull Kid Tiger, Dark Steel 01, Blizzica, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Phantom Project, Cystic Warrior 29, DJ Jersic, Super Dank Awesome Unicorn Guy, Darik, Dinner Sonic, Darik, Chibi J, Stag Nasty. Sorry, there's a bot, like a porn bot in the chat. Mumbling Yeti, Cameron Sharp, Screamo Shaman, Mason Riley, Kilo, Santi the Person, Brandon Hesse, Hustlebun, Noah Fitterer, Rizemon, and finally, Helen Kin Cannon. Woo! Thank you so much. Porn bots can't stop me. If you too would like to become a patron, you can head over to patreon.com/gvgaming to find out more about how you can support us here. Whether you take a look or whether you just ring the bell, subscribe here on YouTube. We appreciate you so much. Thank you to everyone for watching and hanging out with us in this interesting episode. I loved hearing all y'all's takes on NSO. But that does it for us here, we're headed over to our post show. Again, if you'd like to find out how you can be part of the post show, patreon.com/GVGaming has that info. And one final reminder, we are inching up closer than ever to 70,000 subscribers. When we reach that, we have some No Shave November stuff planned. But at 75,000, we are giving away a brand new Switch OLED to one of our subs. I got one right back there. Trust me, it is wonderful. I've got another one brand new in the box, just waiting for for one lucky sub to.
And we're
going
gonna
to
sign it too.
Yeah,
If
you
whoever
want
wants
it autographed,
yeah, we're gonna autograph it for you. Well, the box, not the Switch itself.
Yeah,
Don't worry. We're not gonna open it.
yeah,
Yeah.
we will not sully your Switch with a pen. But if you'd
No.
like us to sign it, we'll sign it. However you want it, we'll deliver it to you anywhere in the world. We promise. But thank you so much for watching. That does it for us tonight for episode 147 of Today's News Tonight. We're headed to the post show. We will see you all Monday. Have a great weekend, everyone. And until next time, good night and good vibes. Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Till we meet again.